Okay, it's about that time for you to kick back, relax, and join us at the Boom Bar. My name is Shola Rogers. Welcome.
And my name is Olajelukwa. The one and only. The one and only one that
Yeah.
anybody knows. In the
So,
whole universe.
well,
Thank you very
in this
much.
studio. But the thing is, if you're just listening to us or watching us for the very first time, we bid you a very, very warm welcome. What is the Boom Bar? Dolupo will tell you.
Ah, okay. The Bull Bar basically is everything and anything in between. Basically, just about sports, music, entertainment, live issues, and all that. Basically, in a very relaxed atmosphere. That's basically what they.
If I hear another basically, I swear to God,
What?
I will sue you for overusing the word basically.
Basically.
You're sued. You are sued.
So anyway, just sit back, relax, enjoy. We'll give you the next for the next 57, 58 minutes. We're here to give you everything, plenty gist about things
Yeah.
happening around the world.
In other words, we are about music, sports, politics, and everything in between. We are your, laid back news platform. We do news with a little bit of, finesse, and we still, are able to take drinks and prefer solutions. Because a lot of people are actually busy. They're busy criticizing a lot. Not because we know they criticize or but it's not only about criticisms. We praise when there's a need to praise, and we knock when there's a need to knock.
Exactly.
It's just that at times knock man what you phone your phone.
Okay, and on that note, there are a few things that we're going to be talking about today. Looks like the federal government is officially serious about this removal of fuel subsidy. I've been saying it. Whoever the next president is going to be is going to come in with a sucker punch.
He has his work cut out for him.
Definitely. It's definitely not going to be rosy from the get. Of course, yeah, we know that President Buhari is handing over May 29th. The fuel subsidy is supposed to be officially off by June.
Yeah.
So literally comes in days and then kaboom, game over. Now there's also talks of which on this note I think it is good news. I will take it as good news as the Edo train attack. There's updates on that. A few people getting arrested. Everybody that has been that were abducted has been released and all that. So yes, there talks about that we're going to go through. Also, courts. There are a few people that looks like court judges are going to jail. Also, there is talks about how somebody was paid a certain amount of money to implicate somebody. We're definitely going to talk about it. Also, some states are now giving people work-free days for either PVC collection or election day, which in my mind as like election day, is there no national?
I'm sure it was just captured wrongly. Maybe they just meant about election-related issues and all of that.
I don't
Largely
understand.
about PVC collection.
Exactly. So yeah, we're going to be talking about it. Also, the kudos to the Nigeria police. There's talks of how an attack was foiled again today. So yes, with this and a few other things we're going to be talking about. There's talks, a bit of talks with football. Some people have. Some people decided to play a draw yesterday. Whoop, 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 whoop. They felt they are on a roll. It's not working. Be coming down. Anyway, there's a bit of transfer news here and there if time permits us to get to that point as well. So let's just hit it straight as we go right into the story. And the story starts with the gradual removal of petrol subsidy. Now, the finance minister has now come out to say that there is going to be gradual removal of the fuel subsidy, which we thought was June, as early as April.
Well, if you're new to this whole thing, a bit of background on it is that Nigeria is a major oil producing country, and the federal government, for many years, that government after government, have decided to subsidize um, PMS, which is petrol, which is the most used variant of crude, or byproduct of crude in Nigeria. It's like the lifeblood of Nigeria. Cottage industries, transportation industry, even regular people and homes depend more on PMS than all the other byproducts like DPK, AGO, and the rest. So the government took a decision many years ago to subsidize it. And why did they have to do that? We have 4 major refineries in Nigeria that just basically went comatose. They just went bust and they stopped refining. So for many years, even up until today, Nigeria exports crude oil, then imports the byproducts of crude oil. The same way we export tan, the same way we export a lot of things. There's a long list of things that Africa and Nigeria should stop exporting. But that's a story for another day. But we'll focus on PMS now, which is petrol. So the government has been paying subsidies. So there are companies, individuals and companies that are actually investors in that subsector. What they do is get the allocations to import the PMS, petrol, then sell to resellers. So they now, as importers, now sell at a lower rate than the international market value. Then government just pays the difference on it to the importer. And this has been going on for so many years.
So many years, yeah.
At some point in time, President Goodluck Jonathan's government tried to remove subsidy. There was a mass movement against it. And a lot of people are saying, oh, they should have let it slide, that they should have let it happen then. And I keep saying that.
With the benefit of hindsight, maybe it should have.
But I keep saying that it probably went about it the wrong way. He had great intentions, but on the 1st of January of that particular year, without any warning, without any announcement, subsidy was removed. People had traveled. Life just became so unbearable for a lot of people.
I think that now people can't
should have done
talk about
staggered.
Yeah, people can't talk about it now because it's something that we've been hearing for over a year.
Yeah.
Now, what the finance minister is saying that instead of removing this thing like immediately, when it's June, they will start taking it off gradually from April. So it's almost like you're getting used to it. So I actually think that makes sense. But it's this honest truth is that it's still going to be pretty difficult for a lot of people. Most people, generally, virtually everybody, because only God knows how much fuel it's going to be selling for. But on the long run, we've heard economists, even as far as the World Bank, saying that we do not need this subsidy.
Yeah. One of the things that the government had planned to do then was to introduce palliatives, like part of the money that would be saved from the subsidy payments was supposed to be used to procure, vehicles that would run at a reduced rate for mass transportation of people and all of that. But again, there's a part of that subsidy regime that people didn't talk about. There was an alleged crime being perpetrated by the importers. A lot of them were alleged to have imported the same batch of PMS over and over again.
There
were
won't
allegations that they would not offload, and they would, and they would get paid for it and bring it back.
And then they bring
again.
it back. They just go back and forth.
It led to some kind of investigation by the House of Assembly.
Yeah, I remember.
Which led to the termination of somebody's career in politics in Nigeria. When you claim that you are working for the people, a certain legislator then who actually went to collect a bribe from one of the major oil dealers then. And these were all fallouts from the subsidy regime and all of that. Having said all of that, it looks like it's something that Nigeria cannot avoid.
It's definitely looking like it's coming.
Yes, especially when you compare the market forces and values of pump price of fuel. Speak to people in Siena climes, people in the US,
Oh yeah,
and the UK, other parts
everybody,
of Europe.
even as close as the West Africa, it's really 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 crazy. But my own hope is just that at the end of the day, whatever happens, it's these monies that are supposed to be saved gets to the right hands and is done and is used for the right things. That's just my own issue with it.
Some people also argue that there are some major oil producing countries that are still subsidizing. You know, Saudi Arabia is one.
Yeah, I think that
if you take a look at it, we can't compare both countries. They kudos to them, were more serious about many things.
From the get,
the whole refining process didn't break down in their country, So what's going to happen now is that with the advent of the Dangote refinery, with the Port Harcourt refinery coming on stream in a few weeks' time, a couple of days from now, and other modular refineries.
I heard that before the subsidy is taken out completely, at least 4 major refineries are going to be on stream. So,
and they are modular refineries also.
Modular refineries as well. So at least
East,
there's not going to be issue of
complete dependence on imported fuel.
So that automatically reduces it. Not that it will reduce it to what we are buying in now, but at least it won't be as high. At least the issue of landing costs and all that will be out of it. So definitely, basically, Nigerians, brace yourselves for times ahead. Anyway, one thing that I think that in my own book, so I think is very good news. And it's because when we hear a lot of these things, even a lot of times when we're thankful that people get people abducted, get rescued, we really never hear anything about the people that perpetrated this crime and all that. But it's different in the case of this issue that happened January 7th. There was a January 7th attack on a train at the train station in Edo State. I think it's the
Igweben.
Yeah, it's the Warri Itakwe train, but that this particular one was at the Edo train station where about 20 people were kidnapped. Now, authorities have now come out. The police have actually now come out to say that 2 village chiefs and 5 other people have been arrested in connection with this. And why I said I'm happy is because this gives me a little bit of hope in our security system. It also tells me that we're getting to a point where people need to understand that you're not above the law.
Yeah, again, for the people who see kidnapping as a form of business, it's a good sign by the law enforcement agencies showing them that, look, we're not going to tolerate this. It is not a good thing. Coming off the backdrop of the similar incident that happened to the Kaduna-Abuja rail that dragged for months, and you saw people actually announcing how they paid ransoms and relatives had to, raise money. It was messed up. It was really messed up. Now, it's almost as if we don't want progress. We have depended too much on road transportation in Nigeria, and that's why the roads are not fantastic. Not just because they're not being properly maintained, but because there's something called wear and tear and all of that.
These roads have a certain number of years with a certain number of vehicles that should be on it. But no, we have overstretched these things every time. But the sad part now is that the alternatives are not now coming off as very safe anymore.
Yeah, air transportation is not that affordable.
Yeah.
And rail is becoming the option. It's always been, but he went comatose and now he's back on stream. The
And some
standard gauge and double.
unscrupulous elements.
They just think that this is business, and how many people, to be honest, would want to get on any of those trains now? It's also bad for the investment. It's bad
Yeah,
for business.
it is. I like the
morale.
fact that a lot of people still seem to have, maybe because people don't have a lot of choice. I know that the Kaduna Abuja rail is back on stream.
Yeah, government had to also introduce a couple of
security checks, which I think on the side of the government, this needs to be done on every single
all the rails now
of these rails. But I am really happy that not just everybody was rescued, people are actually getting arrested. But the one that even blows my mind, and what I feel that is ludicrous in this whole matter, is how village chiefs are actually being arrested. They are being mentioned.
Also remember that a couple of months ago, or a couple of years ago, every time a crime was perpetrated, what you would hear is, oh, the headsman this, harmed headsman. Now, I remember one of the episodes of the Boomba where we stated clearly that we're sure that there are local thieves too.
Yeah.
We're not saying that there were no headsmen perpetrating crimes, but what happened to all the local thieves? But lately, you find that whenever some arrest is made or some bust has been carried out by the security operatives, it's a local person, someone who is involved in, in crime within his own locale, in the southeast, in the south, in the southwest, even in the north, So this is a kudos that is going out to the men of the Nigerian security network. But government needs to realize one thing, and they need to realize it quick and fast. We are under-policed still.
Oh yeah.
They are recruiting into the police force. We heard that. That's fine. We need to be creative about how we police our communities. Immediately this thing happened in Edo State the other day, vigilantes were sent out. People, the youth in the place, and even hunters and other people, they went in search of these criminals. It's time we really looked at this creative way of policing
Of
our
actually
communities.
policing, yes.
It's the vigilantes. You need to be structured,
everybody needs to work
trained,
hand in hand,
and empowered. We need to look for a way to increase, the number of security operatives, not necessarily as police or military, but paramilitary, and all of that, because security is paramount.
Yeah, it is.
And we need to move away from being reactionary to being proactive.
Exactly. It's time to
intelligence gathering.
Yeah, it's time to actually find out these things before they even happen in the first place. And talking about police foiling an attack, we're going all the way to Imo State, where news broke this morning where police have foiled attacks on an Imo police station. And about 3 members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra were also killed on Wednesday. This was when they attempted to attack the Agua police station in Oguta local government area of Imo State.
Over and over again, this is a contentious issue. Actually, a lot of people feel like there's some political bent or twist or slant to this. But if the ESN was set up to protect the people of the Southeast, why are they the ones being arrested and gone down for attacking?
Yeah, so according to them, they said this man had already gone to attack the Agua Central Vigilante group, burning down their office, and they were proceeding to attack and set ablaze the police station. And that was when the tactical team swiftly mobilized to the area, and they cordoned off the station. And in that moment, 3 of them were killed. They're saying that they recovered 2 pump-action guns, 2 double-barrel guns, 24 rounds of live ammunition, 12 expanded cartridges, 1 improvised explosive device, and 3 operational vehicles. Explain to me how, why, if you're supposed to be a security network, how are you?
Why do you have an IED?
Why do you have an IED? Why do you have so much ammunition to go and attack a security system? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, if you're both protecting the community, you know. I saw a video yesterday on Twitter. Some guy was probably returning from a political rally, or he was going out, you know, somewhere in the east, and he was wearing a T-shirt with one of the candidates.
Yeah, I think,
you know,
that
emblazoned
I think
on
he
it.
was beaten or was
Oh my
killed
God.
or something.
They didn't kill him.
Oh,
They actually shot. They shot his 4 tires and gave him a last warning. They said, in this community, they were asking him, this candidate on your T-shirt, what has he done for you? He said nothing. What has he done for the community? He said nothing. He said, the next time we see you talking politics or promoting any candidate, you would pay for it.
And I think that these things are things that need to be looked into directly, because if security operatives do not look into it, there's a very, very high possibility that people in that locale are going to be disenfranchised.
Yes, and we want a situation whereby during the elections, every part of Nigeria participates in, you know, electing the president. Even if your candidate doesn't win, you will know that your vote counted.
You were actually involved.
As
in
against
the whole thing.
a system where, due to the activities of this gun-wielding man, you will prevent people from going out boldly to vote. This is not a good.
Go make sense.
Good thing.
Let's just put it like that. Go make common sense.
It's not a
People
good
should
thing.
have common sense. Anyway,
It's not a good thing.
moving on from that quickly, and let's move on to another story that's coming off a robbery attack that had happened a while ago. Yeah, but this is an update that is coming from that, and this is when a suspect from the Offa robbery. Remember that Offa robbery?
Yeah.
It was very prolific. It was everywhere. Everybody had something to say about it. Now, one of the suspects, which is also kudos to our security, that there are actually a lot of people that got arrested. In that, I think about 7 people got arrested. I'm not sure exactly the number of people. I know that there are a few people that are in court at the moment. Now, one of them standing trial at the Kwara State High Court in Lorry has now said that, remember the former head of the intelligence response team squad, the former Super Cop,
Kyari.
It now said that Kyari, which now you're wondering, like, why does this man's name keep coming up in bad things? Is now saying that Kyari had offered him 10 million naira and a visa to any country of his choice if he took the option to implicate the former Senate President Bukola Saraki.
It's a very interesting story. I remember when this broke. I think it was about 4 years ago or so. It was
No.
I think so. I think it was around. It was around.
The Offa robbery is not that old, though.
Are you sure you want to
No.
look into it? I think so, because I think it was before the elections. There was a lot of hue and cry about it. You know?
2018.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember.
Oh, really?
very,
I honestly
very
didn't
well.
think it doesn't seem as far. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Because I have friends in Offa who actually said that the whole Offa, area actually started raising funds, and they had to get their own security network in place. They had to get the police presence.
Yeah.
So apparently there was no major police establishment
Wow.
there
Wow.
then. So I remember clearly it was about 4 years ago. It was around election or electioneering period to share again. However, Bukola Saraki was a two-time governor of Kwara State, 8 years. You don't need to like him. He was a governor for 8 years, and asking people to implicate him goes beyond the ordinary.
Oh, that's very dangerous. That is very
This person
interesting.
that is speaking has been tortured. You know, in court, it is said that he showed, the gunshot wounds and stuff that he sustained. He said at some point in time that he had been tortured to the point where he couldn't feed himself. They asked someone else to be feeding him. He had lost control of his hands. He said he even claimed that some people were brought and shot in his presence, about 4 or 5 people, just to get him to cooperate with them. He said a lot of things. I'm glad that this is coming up in court. What is Abba Kyari's interest in implicating?
Yes, I think
Saraki?
That angle needs to be investigated. One. Also, I think another thing that also needs to be looked into closely is what are modes of engagement. I know that we talk about police talking when they stop and search, the kind of things they do. They shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. But also, the one that really does not get talked about is even people that get arrested, even for criminal offenses and all that. How are they treated?
Yeah, again, the thing about policing,
That's the thing. Like, that's a conversation that also needs to be.
These
people are human beings as well.
It's something that you see everywhere, and I'm not trying to explain it away or justify it, but it's something that you see everywhere when the police stop being professional. They stop being completely professional about their policing. There are ways and laws that also protect the alleged criminal.
Yeah,
because it's until the court finds him guilty.
When the court finds them guilty and they become convicts, there's still laws.
It still has rights.
It still has rights. So that's another thing that calls out to me. That first thing is first about why you want to implicate so person. Is there more to it than it meets the eye? Yeah, that's one angle. Two, how you decide to treat human beings. We've heard stories of how people have come out say that they've not found people again, and they find out that they are dead. I watched a documentary at the time. I can't remember who it was. It was a few months ago, about how they just find that their families are dead. Someone that got arrested for such a flimsy thing, and they just can't find the person again, or they just can't, how the person was shot, and all those kind of things. Like, when do we actually start? It's not just about policeman on the road stopping you now, because if someone on the road, take the case of Bolale Rahim, for example, if someone on the road that was not even arrested yet could get shot point blank, how much more someone that is now in the cell?
Yeah, so that's why again it calls to question the whole investigation that are carried out for certain cases, where you find that people make confessions
under duress.
Now, those confessions are probably obtained under duress and shouldn't actually stand in court. So even if you have a criminal, the process of extracting information from him,
should really. I
so
think that
everything speaks to professionalism.
Yeah.
Professionalism.
Anyway, we'll see how that story pans out. But as we go, a Kano Chief Magistrate Court has now ordered 2 state Sharia court judges and 16 other financial registrars and a cashier to be remanded in a correction center in Kano State over an alleged 500 million naira theft.
So it's actually a very interesting story.
Very.
Over a period of 4 years, in some certain cases, a group of people who are in the judiciary. The Sharia court is the judiciary.
Is part of judiciary. Remember that they are
It
even
is.
supposed to be religious.
And
That
you know,
makes it even worse.
These are the people who found out how you ingest alcohol or the way you dress, because the Sharia laws are different.
They are actually steep, very more steep. And
how is it that you, the custodian of this
laws,
are now engaged in such high level criminality? It is said that they generated fake civil servants who had passed on, then got the compensation on behalf of these people and shared the money. They're talking about over 96 million naira worth of that. Then there's another 480 something million naira worth of funds that were moved. They forged signatures.
So there's actually that amount of money in Kano State. Let's
in a court. Why does a court even have access to funds?
Exactly.
They forged signatures of the principal signatories of the account, and got, I'm not going to mention the bank, to move funds to different accounts. Everything totaling about 500 million naira. This crime was perpetrated by the judiciary, by people who were supposed to uphold the law, who were supposed to interpret it, and give justice. I'm not talking about judgment now. I'm talking about justice.
It is laughable. So those kind of people, what kind of judgment were they? So if to me, it shows that it's all about the money. People like that would probably change a lot of things if somebody somewhere gives them money to change the judgment.
A wise man once sang. He didn't say, he sang. If good teacher teach something and the student make mistake, teacher must talk so, but only. Fela Kuti talked about a teacher who was supposed to teach something. Teacher don't teach me nonsense.
Oh, teacher don't teach me nonsense.
Teacher. But why am I bringing this into it? It's like, it's saying that you are the one that is supposed to tell people how to behave.
Do things. Exactly.
Yeah, now the
one that
is now stealing.
It is crazy.
Oh, come on.
It is crazy.
Come
it
on.
really, really is crazy. I think that we should just be coming down with ourselves.
Very important.
At the end of the day, it's really not about whether you're a judge or whether you're whatever it is. It's if you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person. Still talking about courts. A federal high court today in Abuja has struck out a suit seeking the disqualification of the All Progressives Congress candidate, the APC candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from the 2023 elections on the basis of, I think, it being a Muslim ticket.
Yeah.
And all that.
Now, the case was instituted by a lawyer.
Yeah, the lawyer had argued that nomination of the Muslim candidacy was unconstitutional and against the spirit and letters of sections 14, 15, and 224 of the Nigerian Constitution. Justice Mohammed held that the complainant, who has no evidence of membership of the APC and participation in the process that produced Tinubu and his running mate as candidates, lacked the local standard to query their nominations.
Okay, so the judge took it solely from the angle of locals. Like, okay, you don't even have the stand. You do not even have the right or the power.
So now what they're saying is that if you don't have local standard, the court has no jurisdiction to proceed on the matter.
Yeah, and again, just like I said when people were talking about Peter Obi being sued for dual citizenship, ceremonial or not, or how article as SPV gate.
Yeah, local standard is probably going to take a lot of precedence.
For Tinubu also, I'm going to maintain the same energy and say, I really don't want to see all these court cases disqualifying anybody, because all these men have won their primaries. It is assumed that they went through the screening process and everything. And the delegates who are representing you and me in all these parties have chosen the best
Who it
for
is,
us.
yeah.
Even the other parties that we don't mention, the Shores, the emoluments, and the rest of them. However, let the people decide. Let the votes count. Let people go out and say, I want Atiku. I want Bola Tinubu. I want Peter Obi. I want Showore. I want Adebayo. I want Emolument. I want
there's
Abiola.
Do you know there's a lot of people.
There's a
to
lot
choose
of them.
from. 18 actually. There are 18 of people.
There's a lot of them.
So we definitely would. So definitely that case is officially out. Now, before we leave the issue of court cases, looks like somebody wants to sue Arise TV. This is coming from the Labour Party chairman.
He wants to sue or he has sued.
Has sued, sorry.
Please, oh.
The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has sued the Rise Television in court for alleged defamatory and slanderous comments made against him. So basically, let me just wrap it up a little bit. It's saying that they invited two people that made a lot of allegations against him and against his party, and he was not given an opportunity to come and defend himself or defend the case, and thereby they are being biased.
Professionally, as journalists, you're supposed to balance your stories, and you're supposed to mention that you reached out to this other person
And they did not.
and the person did not respond. He refused to come or send someone. It shouldn't be about a one-sided discourse
Conversation.
or conversation. So I think the chairman of the Labour Party actually has a strong point. However, as journalists, our colleagues at the other side of that thing could have done better, but maybe this is a good opportunity for them to issue a quick apology and try to do a make good for it. But again, when you're planning your programs, always remember that if you don't even balance it while that person is live, let him have the right of reply.
Right, yeah.
These are basic things that everybody knows. So an organization like Arise should know this too. And I hope that they'll get a chance to correct it. Because this case is now in court, and the only way they can do it now is to maybe get an out of court settlement.
Yeah.
Because the videos are out there anyway, and there's no proof that he was given a chance to defend himself.
Okay, so still talking about courts, this just came in that the court has now struck out a suit against President Buhari on NDDC appointments. There were stories of how some people, a businesswoman and NDDC stakeholder Rita Ogbegbo, had said that she was talking about the appointments that the president made with the Niger Delta Development Commission. Now, according to the court, they said that she has no legal rights to have instituted the case. According to the judge, said that any legal action or on any infraction in matters relating the NDDC can only be instituted by corporate persons and not individuals. So basically, it's still back to local standard.
Yeah.
Because basically, the plaintiff was asking the court to compel the president to appoint an Ishekiri indigene from all producing state, Delta State, as the managing director of the NDDC.
Why an Ishekiri person?
Why? I'm like, okay, Delta State is not the only oil producing state.
There must be a reason why she's done that, though.
Delta State is not the only Niger Delta state. If we're even talking about, okay, now we have other states that are not Niger Delta states that are all producing. There are a few states in the north now. But the story is that She was asking the court to declare that President Buhari is under legal obligation to comply with all the laws relating to appointments in the AIDDC. So she now the court, according to the judge, has now said that those empowered by law to challenge the infractions in the NDDC appointments, refuse or neglect to act on them, won't consider it material infraction or an infraction at all, as long as the people who are involved in it. But you, as just one human being, just one entity, I'm sure maybe if this was maybe like a class action or something, it maybe would have carried a bit of weight.
Maybe.
But now,
so the case is thrown out now.
Yeah, so the case has been thrown out. In fact, when I first saw it, the first thing that would have come to my mind is, I'm not sure you can even sue the president. Which maybe, now this is not even about maybe he's guilty or not. This is about the court compelling him to do something, which might not have been such a bad thing. But it is what it is. Anyway, still talking about a bit of politics. There's some... Okay, before we even go to that, now there's a video going around that said that security convoy of the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar was attacked in Ake, Abeokuta, Ogun State capital. I watched the video where, in fact, there were sounds of gunshots from the convoy after people started stoning the convoy, and I'm wondering, what could he have done?
Well, first things first, we condemn violence in any form whatsoever. Can we have politics without all of this bad blood and all of this evil machinations by God knows who? Again, the instant something happens, you start to point fingers at the other parties or the other opponents. I'm glad that it wasn't in that convoy. I said it was the security.
Oh, really?
According to reports, it's the security people that were attacked, and they responded by shooting into the air.
I think that was very dangerous.
Shooting into the air is safe though. They could, if they are shot at people by now, 1 or 2 people will be dead. So if you say that's dangerous, I get it. But they didn't shoot at people; they shot into the air. In the laws of engagement, I think that's not a bad thing. The thing about it is, what about the people who attacked them? What about the people who attacked them? What's the end game? What's the plan
of attacking them? Even if you don't want this person. I saw that video. They were just driving past. There was really no need, except you're going to say that maybe somebody had done something before that would not have aggravated people. I think that we honestly need to do things more with more civility. Anyway, still talking about elections. I'm coming to the Lagos State. Lagos State has now declared work-free days for collection of PVCs. This statement was issued by the Lagos Head of Service and now said that several cadres of public servants have been scheduled to pick up their PVCs on designated days. We know that collection of PVC is about 10 days from now. So really, there isn't that much time for people to go and collect it. So there are different days for different people, starting from January 24th, January 25th, 26th, and January 27th.
Yeah.
So different people will go different days, which I think is a good thing, encouraging more people to go and...
whatever it is, if you are listening to us or you're watching us and you are based in Nigeria, or even if you are abroad and you have relatives in Nigeria, please encourage them to go get their PVCs if they have registered. If they haven't, well, there's nothing they can do about it. And even your old PVCs are still available. Go pick them up. However, we should not be begged or cajoled. It should be something that
we're proud of
as a priority. If you really want to have a say in how your country is run and
You know the
who
funny
becomes the
thing?
president, you really should not be the one that they are begging you.
You know, I was even one thing I remember I was having a conversation with someone a while ago. I said if it's only for the fact that we're at a time in the country where, you know, before every single ID card you carry is useful in places like banks and all those things. Now, there are not a lot of identification that is useful, or they're really streamlined. If you don't have your passport, you don't have your driver's license, or you don't have your national ID card, the next thing they're going to ask you for is your PVC, which is a valid ID card. Yeah. And I remember asking someone that if it's only because of that alone, you go and collect your PVC. Your PVC is not just only useful to vote, it is actually a valid ID card that is useful to you literally forever.
So it's yours. It doesn't have an expiry date.
It doesn't have an expiry date. It is actually
it's
way more useful than
valid
just
for
your
transactions
Yeah,
and all of that. So beyond elections, your PVC card is very useful.
it's very useful to you.
You
So
know, go get it. But we're still talking politics here. I wanted to interject and bring one or two things that's happening. There's real time happening in and around us.
yeah,
In Niger State, as we speak, the Obidati campaign train is there, and they're having their rallies and meetings and all of that. So if you are a supporter of Obi, you could go search for Obidati in Niger. It's a trending hashtag at the moment, and it's also something that speaks to your aspirations as a Labour Party supporter or Obi supporter. In Ibadan is trending, and the reason why Ibadan is trending is because the candidate of the PDP, left Ogun State, and now he's in Ibadan, and a lot of people are talking about one particular name that was unveiled today. People are going on about it like it's supposed to be a shock to some people. That former governor of Oyo, former senator Rashid Ladoja, is fully in support of Atiku.
yeah.
And I'm shocked at how people are surprised. That people are, is the man not entitled to support who he wants to support?
He wants to support. Yeah.
There's a tweet here from a staunch APC supporter, Mr. Lovey, and he says it is no longer news that Rashidi Ladoja has pitched his tent with Atiku. Same Ladoja that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu helped in 2005 when he was impeached. All pro-Ladoja lawmakers were housed in Lagos because of this Baba Alankara Ujamilara Jeme.
Oh yeah, it's always in Ankara though.
Yeah, Odi for real at Odi for real says Atiku decided to show his Ladoja hand very late in the game, as it is with Ladoja in Ibadan, so it is across with country, or maybe he meant that country. Won't say too much. It's obviously,
but that should be a good thing.
Yeah, that he's saying that there are other people like that.
Yeah, that should actually be a good thing.
Yesterday, the vice presidential candidate of PDP tweeted ahead of tomorrow's Recover Nigeria rally in Oyo State. Earlier tonight, we spent some time at the home of former governor of Oyo State, His Excellency Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. And in the picture, you see, I think the governor of Bayelsa, then Senator Ladoja Okowa, and another PDP member. So, politics, is...
It's very interesting.
Like they're saying that jungle they mature or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody has...
We're moving to the end now, so everybody's obviously they have to show their hand, who they're with, who they're not with. A lot of coalitions are going to be going on. So I think everybody's well within their rights as long as nobody is doing anything against the law. I think everybody's definitely well within their rights to do whatever it is they want to do. So you want to talk about something else?
No, it's just basically to say that it's interesting, and regardless of whatever it is that's happening in and around you, can we just kindly just keep it sane and civil and not degenerate to, fisticuffs and violence and all of that?
Yeah, and talking about a bit of politics. Remember, I don't know if you have been seeing, there was a particular statement that Rabi Kwakwanso, the NNPP candidate, had.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, I thought I was going to forget.
At the
Chatham
Chatham
House,
House,
where it was asked about. Funny enough, I did not watch it immediately. I caught it when it started, but I was kind of uninterested. Then I went back to it later. And he seems like a very put together person.
He is actually.
I did go back to watch the 1 hour plus speech and his question and answer. He was actually a very put together person. And what I wanted to talk about was the one that he had referred to a certain party that is
like
that had
Andrew's
to
liver
do
salt
with ethnicity and religion, and that he's a national party, and so they do not do that. And he's talking about how he has been in politics for so long, so even if he's going to step down, he's not going to step down for a party that just started a few months ago, and how they are like Andrew's liver salt and they come up, and then I'm like, okay, that is shots fired. I know the fact that you won't quickly realize, because they're very calmly spoken person, so you don't, until you're like what did he just say?
Yes. So someone who he alleged was a Peter Obi supporter in the crowd had asked him why
he
didn't go with the coalition, and he said that he told them that if there was a better candidate than him, he would step down for the person, but I didn't see Peter Obi as a better candidate than himself, and that the mistake that Peter Obi is making is that he's carried away with the media hype and everything, but he's not looking at what is on ground. That
and he's going to ask about him,
yeah, I know,
around and all that,
So interesting times are ahead. We even mentioned, and we didn't mention his name when we're mentioning all the presidential candidates. Please forgive us. It's not a deliberate.
The former governor of Kano State, Rabi Kwakwanso. Anyway, so quickly before we go, there is also the story of the very interesting story that coming from South Africa, as they said that South Africa has now disconnected the Nigerian consulate's electricity over unpaid bills. See, why do we? Sorry for people that do not understand Yoruba, but I want to say this to you, Yoruba. Why do we make shele data? Why can't we?
You're gonna have to explain what that means, though.
Why do we have to do things that we do in the house? Why do we have to do it in public? You do see a lot. It is not news that a lot of Nigerian parastatals and all that have issues with paying bills. It is not news. But then you now go all the way. You do it and you hear a lot of all these electricity companies coming out to say that governments don't pay bills, this don't pay bills, that don't pay bills. You now go all the way to another country. As far as South Africa, they will now disconnect your lights because you don't have.
This embassies.
Jesus.
It is presumed that they have allocations for their expenses.
Of course.
All that. Some of them also generate revenue based on visa fees that they collect and other activities that are actually commercial.
Yeah.
So this should not be happening at all. It is quite embarrassing that a Nigerian high consulate or embassy, has its light disconnected in a foreign land or wherever they are. It's sad, it's disgraceful, and they should fix up immediately.
Immediately.
So there's also some football transfer stories, but let's talk about the CBN and updates on new Naira notes and stuff.
Oh yeah, so now the CBN is still talking about how
yesterday we actually went hard on them, saying that it doesn't make any sense that by the 31st of this month, 2023, 31st of
banks
January,
are still
you're supposed to stop using the old Naira notes. and sadly, that's all you get at the ATMs. Maybe CBN was watching also. Maybe
So
they were listening.
yeah,
They responded today.
definitely responded that they're going to be clamping down a lot on banks. They're also saying that the reasons for that people stop collecting new notes over the counter is because of the abuse of the naira. I actually still saw that over the weekend, and then you wonder like, I've not seen this naira, and then you see like words, people have words of it for sale and all that, and I don't know why and how that is still happening. Anyway, so quickly before we get to the transfer news that you were talking about, one person is dead, and when a Lagos building has now collapsed in Lagos, a one-story building in Ikeja area of Lagos. Incident happened at number 12 Aromire Street, Ikeja, Lagos. So the building was under construction, and it formerly housed a supermarket but partially collapsed due to construction being done by some unskilled workers on site.
Always the unskilled workers. Always the owners trying to cut corners and trying to do whatever it is that they think they do, and it don't make no sense whatsoever. Now, a whole human being has lost his life. The good news about this, if there's any such thing, is that it doesn't affect the adjoining buildings, you know, because at times when the building goes faulty,
it pulls down a lot as well. So, but this one seems to be the only one. So quickly before we go, some transfer news that you were about to talk about.
Yeah. So Chelsea are about to sign another player. Sorry, let me be honest with you guys. Why is Arsenal announcing their transfers? Where's my camera now? That's my camera.
Which one? This one. Okay. This one.
Their Arsenal team. Why announce Leandro Trossard as your next target? Now, it is rumored that he has agreed to personal terms. We have heard this before. Lisandro Martinez, Modric. I can go on and on. Arsenal, stop announcing the players you want to buy. Even if it's rumor, tell them we're not buying. Now that they are saying you want to buy Leandro Trossard from Brighton or whatever, and that the guy has it's not a deal, it's a lie. Because
if you are not careful, Chelsea's
30 minutes from now, you know, Chelsea seal deal with.
Funny thing is that at the
Arsenal,
moment,
when are you going to learn? Stop announcing the players you want to buy, and if they're announcing it, deny it.
Deny. Also, a lot of people are coming out to say that they don't even understand why they're buying it. That he's not like his stats are beautiful and all.
That's Trossard, right? At Brighton.
At Brighton.
But I think they're buying him as a backup player. You know, saying that he's 28 years old and he plays on the flanks, and the flanks are already busy. There's Saka, and the rest of
I think that, and like I know that you had mentioned it. I think last time we talked about this, that at times people need to move to a different team,
and the player becomes something else. Yeah,
something else. So yes, we definitely will see how that.
Then Bayern Munchen have confirmed the signing of Jan Sommer on a permanent deal.
That's nice.
His deal will last until 2025. Of course, the guy is already talking about how big the club is, and it's good to be. Players, you people are funny. One moment you are kissing the badge, the next moment you are telling us one club is big. You know. So
anyway,
it looks like that's a done deal for him.
So there's a Premier League game today. There's Manchester City and Tottenham. I hope that the anger of Manchester City losing their last game is not going to be unleashed on Tottenham.
Yeah, and City's at home.
I honestly do not see Tottenham winning this game. The one that I did not see, even though I'm not surprised, because whether we like it or not, it is Crystal Palace. I think people seem to forget that it's Crystal Palace in this matter. I wasn't surprised that it was a draw yesterday.
I saw the game. You know, did you watch the game?
No, I just watched highlights.
So I saw the game, and it was a fantastic outing for Man United. They ran rings around Crystal. It was shocking because Crystal Palace is that bad. Like, that's the team that they're the boogie team for the big boys. You know, so United even had a penalty that was denied, which is, if you watch it again, it should have been a penalty. But again, at the end of the day, you're leading 1-0, then you concede a free kick at the edge of your box. What do you expect? I saw a beautiful free kick by a guy named Olise. You know, built as in, it's a world class
goal.
But I don't know why he did not celebrate. I want to dig into that. You're not a Man United player on loan. You score against United. You're supposed to go crazy.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful game, and Crystal Palace showed that it's not over until it's over.
Exactly.
For United, again, people should not throw them because they didn't lose. They were on the road and it was a draw.
Nah. At this point, every single point matters. That's the problem.
But the biggest part of that game that people should talk about is the fact that there will be no Casemiro against Arsenal. He got his 5th yellow card yesterday, and that is the biggest part of it. Forget the result, because Casemiro seems to be like, Casemiro and Eriksen are arguably the best, signings that they've had in a long time.
So, and that's very interesting.
And it's going to have a bearing on the Arsenal game.
The Arsenal game, exactly.
Because that game will be won and lost in the midfield.
Yeah.
Quote me.
Yeah. So we definitely will see how that goes. That's on Sunday, if I'm right. Yes, that game is going to be on Sunday. But at
the
9
hashtag is already trending.
Yeah, at 9 p.m. today, we're going to see Manchester City, Tottenham this evening. So on that note, that is all we have to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We will be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you a wonderful edition of The Bar. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Bing.